Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in any part of the world. We are live on Radio Works, and this is Every Woman Dreams Show. Like always, I bring to you stories of inspiring women from across the globe. And today we have an exceptionally unique woman, all the way from South Africa, Pretoria to be specific. And she is Aisha Dimpho Majogo. Hope I got the name right.
All right.
Okay, all right. So welcome, Dimpho. Did I get the name correct? Is it Dimpho?
Yeah, you're good. You're good with pronunciations. You got it all
Okay,
right.
all right. Thank you. Okay, so welcome. Now, let me tell you a little bit about Dimpho before we continue. She's a humanitarian worker. She is an on-air presenter on Media. She's also the CEO of Nyota Collections, which is a social enterprise. And let's get to hear more about this unique and amazing woman. She calls herself Black Muslim woman. So let's get to hear what she has for us for today. Welcome, sister.
Thank you, Asma, for having me.
Okay, so let me start with how is it like growing up as a young South African girl? How's the story like in South Africa? I could speak for Ghana though, but I would like to hear about how is it like growing up in South Africa?
Okay, I partly grew up in South Africa, but I'm originally from Lesotho. So I grew up in Lesotho and was partly in South Africa because my mother's from South Africa.
Okay.
So growing up in Lesotho was amazing. It's
Uh,
humble and it's a small country, but the people that got it was great. So I had a
mm,
great childhood, I must say. Very humbling
awesome.
experience in life.
Okay. What are some of the any memorable story of childhood you can remember as a girl?
And I
Something
just
that was
remember that
just so unique to you,
my
yes.
grand my grandmother used to lock us in. We weren't allowed to go in the street. Only certain people were
Aha,
allowed to
the
visit
normal
us.
African child's training.
Yeah, she kept us in the yard. If somebody came to visit us, she wanted to know who the father was,
Aha.
where they came from,
I
and
guess
from
if
that
they were guys, right? If they were
yeah,
guys, of course.
and
She needed to
because
protect.
she used to say that the friends you keep define you. So she never really wanted us to hang around with a lot of people. So basically, we were just indoors. And my mother was as much as overprotective as it is, but it helped me as well in my parenting now to learn how you groom your children in terms of the friends that they keep. You can't choose them, but at least you guide them in that direction.
Okay. And that leads me to my next question, parenting. How is it like being a parent? And I've read quite a lot about you. We'll get to all of those details and you're going to tell us how it all started, each and every one of them, how it all started, the stories behind them, because these are the stories that inspire other women from across the globe. And this is why we have Every Woman Dreams show. So as a parent, how do you blend your hectic work, humanitarian work for the love of it, but I know it pulls so much energy. How do you blend all of that with parenting? So tell us about that.
I don't know. Like every day, I ask that myself the same question because I really struggle to find balance. But Allah Subhanahu wa Taala is amazing because He always makes a
Mashallah.
way. There's days where I've learned before. I just went with the flow. Like I couldn't say no, but I learned that at one point this is my body and it gets tired, and then there's a family. So I know how to say no now when somebody wants to, like, no, my Sundays are out. My Sundays are family time. I need to see my kids
Okay,
because now
great.
I can't be giving charity outside and not giving it to my kids.
That's true. That's very important. Yeah. So growing, how do your children find you? Do they find you like, oh, she's a busy mom? She's available. Sometimes she's not. How do your children find you? What feedback do you get from them?
Do they give me feedback? I've got a teenager, and me and him are always bumping heads. I think I'm
Ah,
very strict because the environment where they grow up in South Africa is quite different from how I grew up. And I really honestly don't like raising my kids in South Africa because there's just a lot of things that shock me all the time. And I think I need to move with the times and be more of a friend. But sometimes I'm like, that old school African woman that like do this when I want to be done. But Alhamdulillah, I think I'm doing a great job.
okay, okay, mashallah. Now, of all the great works and aspirations and all the $1 million jobs, why did you choose to be a social entrepreneur?
I wish
What
I
was
wish I
the
could.
motivation? Yeah, what was that push? What was that motivation? Because I'm sure other people would like to hear that from you, and someone somewhere might just pick that inspiration to want to also take up that lane. How did it all started? What was that push for you?
I think for me the push was Islam, but it is something that naturally was there in me. But because my mother was too much of a humanitarian, she just wanted to save everybody. I hated it so much when I was growing up. I didn't want to be like her. But
Mm,
when I came into Islam, it sort of unleashed that hidden baby that was in me because it's
okay.
something that I grew up with of giving back to people and always
Mm,
being a helping hand. And for some reason, people always, like even a stranger would randomly tell me their problems and like, I've got my own problems, you shouldn't be telling
sure,
me about. But I think
sure.
it's something that I learned from my family. I come from a family of very strong women that are caregivers to anybody. So
I
also
see.
when I got into Islam, I just embraced it that way. And in the marks on experiences that I experienced, I chose the social route, empowerment route, because I wanted to change certain ills that I experienced in my journey.
Mm. Would you like to share some of those hurdles you came across growing up?
Not really growing
And
up. I
how,
think most of
yeah.
my hurdles are real hurdles because they were
Okay.
more spiritual and more defining as a grown woman was when I embraced Islam because
All right.
I understood it as Islam is peace, Islam is love. And
Mm,
when you come in, I think South Africa is a very racial country. So
okay.
that's when, for the first time in my life, I actually experienced how it feels to be black. I come from
Mm,
Lesotho, and it's not such a racial country. So when
okay.
I came into Islam, then I realized then there was Indians and then there was blacks, all those hurdles. So my challenge mainly was where I lost my identity and
All right.
actually adopt a different culture instead of following what should Islam be.
Okay. And that takes us to Nyota Collection. Nyota Collection is a blend of modest outfits and basically giving it that traditional touch. How did Nyota Collection started? What's the
Um,
story? Mm.
Nyota. Okay, Nyota, first of all, it means a star in Swahili. I was
Okay.
somehow along the way hoping that Allah will bless me with a baby girl. So I was playing around with the names, Swahili names,
Okay.
because it was going to be for my best friend, so it
All
had to be a special name. So
right. I see.
when I first visited my in-laws as a Muslim in Tanzania, I kind of
Okay.
loved how they embraced being Muslim in their culture, being African,
Mm.
and it was just who they were. They were not trying to be Muslim. They were Muslims, and in that they wore what they wore. And I realized, like, why can't I wear my own traditional way? Why can't
Right.
I
Keep your
blend
identity.
in my
All right.
identity? You know.
Okay.
And then when I said I'm going to start this, because I was already selling African fabric even
Oh,
before the actual Nyotas took off. So when
okay.
I had it as a formal business, I chose Nyota as this was a replacement for me for a baby girl that I don't have. Allah has blessed me with three boys.
Mashallah.
So
Okay.
Nyota is my baby girl that I don't have and I'm still raising. So it was for me to redefine my identity and redefine myself as an African Muslim. So
Mm.
in that, I had to wear what I was comfortable with. I didn't have to lose my Masutu from Lesotho when I was Muslim, which is part
Okay.
of my journey. And I realized that other women are also going through the same challenge. So
Mm.
in this, it was my healing, and can it be, inshallah, healing for other women as well?
Okay. So how far has Nyota Collection gone? When did it exactly started, and how far has it gone? Do you do exporting? What goes really into the whole Nyota Collection? Yes.
The experience for me was amazing because I love traveling. So
Okay.
it was traveling in between going to Tanzania, sourcing my stock, going to Zambia, and all that. So I loved that experience because I've always loved traveling. But
Okay.
when you're like in the southern region, they're always like, "Ah, if you go to this country, these people will eat you." And in my experience is
I see.
people
Okay.
were wonderful, even though there was a language barrier. But every time I
Right.
went, I got a bus and whatever. People were always so accommodating. Some people were very fascinated to see me as a South
Oh,
African as a Muslim, you know, it's like they were so
Okay,
amazed. So
yes.
it was so
Mhm.
touching at that. And Nyota started in 2012.
Okay.
So I started selling from my backpack and was like, you know, Allah, this I need to grow. You know, this baby needs to start somewhere and crawl
Uh-huh.
and walk. And
Yeah.
as a challenge to myself, I was like, I'm gonna get my driver's license because in terms of movement, my husband was always tired
Yeah.
of taking
Let's
me
try.
everywhere. I needed to be independent. And then I got my license, which was a milestone for the business. But at that time, I still wasn't sure of what link or what channel I wanted it to be focused. I was
To
just
go.
doing everything that I was selling.
Okay.
But along the way, I realized that my passion isn't just only about money. I'd like to uplift communities. You know, people
Yeah.
need, because I stay in a community where there isn't a lot of Muslims. It's not a Muslim community. So
Okay.
these people need to understand us as Muslims, that I'm one of them. You know, I'm
Okay.
not foreign. They need to understand that. So I had to be part of them. So in terms of that, I got involved in volunteer programs where I participate in a lot of things. So most of the things I do are voluntarily. So when I changed the channel with Nyota Collections, it was Nyota Clothing. So I just
Okay.
didn't want to be that girl that does fashion clothes. I wanted to be
Mhm.
remembered for something. I wanted to leave a legacy for my kids because I'm a very outspoken person, and I say it. Sometimes I think after saying it, but if something doesn't work for me, I say it upright. So
That's
there were
it.
ill, like I said, in experiences of revet Muslims that we experienced in South Africa, and I said, this is my time, and this is for me to rewrite and tell my own story. I'm not going to let anybody tell my story.
Mm.
So that's how it started into taking the social entrepreneur side.
Okay. So what are some of the projects that Nyota has embarked on? A few of the projects
Um,
you've embarked on. Yeah. Maybe we would actually like to narrow down to those ones that are directly related to empowerment of women and girls across the globe. Like if you've done any projects that really targeted young women.
you're putting me on the spot there because
Okay. Yeah, that's
I'm
what we
raising
do.
boys. I'm raising boys. So all the time when I speak to people, when they say empowerment of women, empowerment of girls, and I ask,
Yeah.
who are these girls going to be married to? Because
Married
you
to
guys are not
exactly.
empowering my boys. My boys are not going to be lazy and not
That's
empowered, and they're
true.
going to be
That's true.
married to
But
strong women.
yeah, the argument is to close that gap that has far been created between girls and boys. So if you're given a percentage, and when we look at a global view, we know that women are fast outnumbering men. And so when you look at them from the basic school, you keep seeing that trend growing gradually that way. So the whole concept is to close that gap, yes. But I certainly agree with you. We need to empower the boys as much as we empower the girls, so we don't have all empowered girls still ending and getting married to some kind of boys that we don't even like, you know. Yes, so
Yeah.
or we're not proud of. Yes, so I perfectly agree with you. So let's take a walk through some of the projects that Nyota has embarked on. Yes, so we are with Dimpho Aisha Majogo. She is a humanitarian worker. She is a social entrepreneur and the CEO of Nyota Collections. Now, Nyota Collections started as a way to blend culture with the modest clothing of known and worn by Muslim women. And this is the whole initiative behind Nyota Collection. But it has grown to start a lot of community projects and activism and advocacy in South Africa. And you would be with Dimpho trying to hear more about the works of Nyota Collection. And after some time, we would also be looking at her work as on-air presenter with Salam Media. Salam Media is also a DAWA, or what we know as a humanitarian social network that brings the voice of brings the voice of the voiceless up. So we get to hear the work she does with Salam Media as well. This is Every Woman Dreams show, and don't go away. We're still with Dimpho. Hi, Dimpho. Salam alaikum. Okay, I think we are having a little hitch, but sure we will have Dimpho joining us again so we can continue this exciting discussion that we are having with her. Dimpho, as we know, is a social entrepreneur, and she's South African, originally from Lesotho. She is the founder of Nyota Collections and an on-air presenter at salaamedia. Also a parent and a wife. I mean, basically an all-rounded woman who's doing amazing works in South Africa. We are still with Dimpho. Hello, Dimpho. Okay. Hello, Dimpho. Okay, I think Dimpho is having a little difficulty joining me again, but we're sure going to have her back and we can continue with this exciting discussion because we have so much more to hear from Dimpho, and I know you're following this conversation and would like to hear more about her as well, as much as I do. Hello, Dimpho. Can you hear me now? Hello, Dimpho. We're still live with on Radio Works. This is Every Woman Dream Show. As always, every Monday, 12 p.m. London time, I bring you inspiring women from across the globe who are doing amazingly wonderful, great projects that we are so proud of. And we share these stories so other women from across the globe can find an inspiration, can understand the unique challenges that other women have walked through. How did they do it? How did their journey all started? This is a platform where we share such inspirational stories so we can inspire other women from all over the world to step up and achieve their best of dreams. As you dream, you walk through to make it a reality. You don't give up. You don't internalize failures. Hello, Dimpho. Assalamu alaikum. Okay, we are having a little challenge having Dimpho back with us. We are still live on Every Woman Dream Show, and unfortunately, we just lost Dimpho. Dimpho is a social entrepreneur. She is a born South African, originally from Lesotho, married to a Tanzanian, trying to blend all the African continents together. She's an on-air presenter on salaamedia, and she's also a social entrepreneur with Nyota Collection. She started the Nyota Collection as a way to break through culture and the identity of the Muslim woman and modest clothing. So in a way, blending modest clothing, but still maintaining the cultural identity, because you don't have to lose your beautiful identity just because you need to dress modestly. And this is the breakthrough that Nyota Collection has brought. Part of the initiative that is being carried out by Nyota Collection is community work, advocacy, and trying to empower both boys and girls to aspire to their best and be great. Unfortunately, we lost Dimpho, but we sure are going to try to have her back again so we can continue with our discussion. It's Every Woman Dream Show, the story action. This is a platform when I bring to you inspiring women, amazing women, great women from across the globe who are making it amazing, who are sharing their stories on this space so they can inspire and aspire other women to greatness. Join me again, same time this week. Is Every Woman Dream Show. And if you want to be featured on this space, send an email to info@radioworks.world. info@radioworks.world. Remember, you're a woman and you're great. Don't give up. See you again, same time, Leslie. Bye-bye for now.